What's going on, everybody? This is MDENT313, and I'm back at y'all with another one. And I want to give y'all my thoughts on a potential fight with Errol Spence Jr. and Ryan Garcia. You know what? I never thought about it before because Ryan Garcia was down there at lightweight. But when you look at them stand next to each other, Ryan Garcia is actually taller than Errol Spence. And if I'm not mistaken, they got roughly the same arm reach. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that maybe it might be a good fight. And looking at what happened with him and Devin Haney, his power, at least in his left hand, might translate. The difference is, I don't, I don't think he's technical enough to deal with Earl Spence Jr. Now I know Devin Haney is a phenomenal boxer, and Devin Haney's more of a slick fighter, but Earl Spence style is a come forward, aggressive, work behind the jab, technical fighter, and Earl's big and he's pretty strong. And I'm not sure that Ryan Garcia has Terrence Crawford level power, and I know good and well he don't have a Terrence Crawford level defense and boxing IQ, right? Now all this came about, because Ryan Garcia has been nitpicking with Earl Spence, talking crazy to him on Twitter, talking about he'd take his girl, throwing Earl under the bus, and Earl, was high and he wasn't in his right state of mind when he fought Terrence Crawford. He's also been, throwing out the fact that Earl Spence didn't pay Derrick James what he was supposed to pay Derrick James, right? We all know that, Errol Spence and Derrick James is locked into a legal dispute because I guess Earl Spence paid Derrick James out of the guaranteed money, but I guess they had a handshake agreement that he was supposed to also pay him a few $1,000,000 out of the back end money that he got from the Terrence Crawford fight. It's being reported that Earl Spence made roughly, between him and Terrence Crawford, made roughly about $25 million on the back end on top of, what they got for their base pay. And when I look at the fight, it got the making to be an entertaining fight, an entertaining build up. I never thought about it before. I mean, hey, why not? Listen, Earl Spence is coming off a loss, and we want to see how he looked, see if he's still sharp, because he did take a serious punishment and a bad beating from Terrence Crawford. So we want to see if he's mentally still the same fighter, physically the same fighter. It's said that when a fighter just get knocked out, especially if it's a quick knockout, you're still the same. You're not pretty much no different because you didn't take a sustained punishment or a sustained beating. But they say when you just get beat up like that, for 8, 9, 10 rounds, it not only does something to you physically, but it does something to you psychologically, right? On top of that, when you're getting paid the egregious amount of money that Earl Spence and Ryan Garcia is getting paid, do he still have the hunger? Because you got to remember, Earl's been making this kind of money a lot longer than Ryan Garcia have. Ryan Garcia just recently started making that kind of money, at least in the boxing arena, because he is a big star outside of boxing. But as far as in the boxing arena, he just started making that money with the Tank Davis fight, which was a couple fights ago. So I'm going to say about a year and a half to 2 years ago. But Earl's been making this kind of money at least since the Mikey Garcia fight back in 2017. And, he's pretty much had big fight after big fight after big fight after big fight. As we call him, the truth, no tune-up, because he always say he don't do tune-ups. And I will give Earl Spence his credit. He is for sure a man of his word. He stand on his principles, at least from a boxing perspective. I don't agree with if what they saying is true about what happened with him and Derrick James. I wholeheartedly don't agree with that. The man has been with you since the beginning of your career. He's done right by you. He's done a phenomenal job with you. You lost to the best fighter in boxing. There's no shame in that. And we need to get away from disowning and clowning these fighters for taking losses, especially if they're giving us the fight that we want to see. We may not get it when we want to see it, but at least we got it. And in his case, his team didn't want him to take that fight. He could have easily just took a Keith Thurman fight, which would have been a good fight, a big fight. Not as big of a fight, but a big fight. in which we know he would have won. Both of those guys are inactive, but Keith Thurman, not only is he inactive, but he too is also coming off a lot of injuries. He didn't look. He looked like a shell of himself after the Manny Pacquiao fight. And Earl could have crewed. He could have did a Keith Thurman fight and went into a Canelo fight, got destroyed by Canelo and got the payday, right? Now I'll be honest, I might be goofy, but I was one of the guys who originally thought that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford could beat Canelo. But after seeing what happened with him and Terrence Crawford, I think Crawford could still beat Canelo. And I also too would like to see a rematch with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. I do think it was some things that Earl could have done better. I didn't think he did too bad. I just think Terrence Crawford is just a tremendous fighter. He was out of his mind on that night. But Earl could have also done a little bit better, right? But getting back to Errol Spence and Ryan Garcia, I think he got the makings of a good fight. I think Earl will eventually stop him in the 8th or 9th round. But I think leading up until then, it'll be absolutely fireworks. Because Earl do have trouble with guys with fast hands. But because he's not as technical as Terrence Crawford, I do see him landing the left hand, but I don't see him landing it often. Not enough to really change the complexity of the fight or really put Errol Spence in some serious trouble unless Errol Spence is completely damaged goods after that fight with Terrence Crawford. But I'm very interested in seeing it. I'm interested in the build-up. I know him and Derrick James is going to get into some crazy back and forths with those guys being locked into a legal battle. It'll also be a good way for, Errol Spence just to give him the money. I hope you guys end the lawsuit. And, a good way for Ryan Garcia to make some money, some good money. I'm pretty sure when you start making that kind of money, you don't want to go backwards. As far as the type of money you can make. Now, the sad thing about boxing is it's a lot. Some of the best fighters aren't making top dollar because they're not popular. So a lot of times, fighters want to fight other popular fighters just to get that money. But I'm here for it. I'm excited about it. I hope you guys will be excited about it, and I will order that fight. I will order that pay-per-view. Hell, to be honest with you, if Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia was to rematch it, barring that it's on the even playing field and it's a clean fight and Ryan Garcia isn't on any steroids and they both are able to make weight, I'm here for it because I do think Devin Haney also can do some things different and beat Ryan Garcia. But you let me guys know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. And with that, I'm out. Peace.